K. Gunaratnam, Kanagasabai Gunaratnam 20 July 1917 27 August 1989 Tamil Kanagasabai Gunaratnam Sinhala Kanagasabai Gunaratnam, popularly known as K. Gunaratnam, was a prolific film producer in Sri Lankan cinema. Started his film producing career during post-independent Ceylon. Gunaratnam is the pioneer to establish two Sinhala film studios, Cinemas Limited and Vijaya Studios, where he produced more than 20 blockbuster and commercial movies. Personal life. He was born on 20 July 1917 in Athiati, Jaffna, as the youngest son of the family. His father, Manikan Kanakasabi, was a merchant in Jaffna. His mother, Manikan Murajesu, was a housewife. He studied at Jaffna Central College up to junior class. In 1940, he married Padma Salvador. However, she died untimely and later married her sister, Kamala Salvador. Apart from cinema, he was also a planter. Horseback riding and tennis were his main hobbies, and he was an active member of the Tamil Union Sports Club and the Orient Club. The couple had 2 sons and 4 daughters. Career. Gunaratnam came to Colombo hoping to get a job as a representative of a film distribution company in Sri Lanka. In 1934, he worked for 2 years as an agent for a film distribution company called Windsor Talkies. When the company was bought by Chittimpalam Abraham Gardiner and ruled under a new administration called Ceylon Theatres, he worked for about 3 months before retiring in 1941 and buying the soft drink business at number 117 New Chetty Street, Colombo, where his ice cream business was known as Nelwani and Company. Then he joined the film industry as a partner in a film distribution company called Wellington Talkies. In 1948, he became its chairman and built the Wellington Cinema in Jaffna. Then, in 1950, he established the cinema company called Cinemas Limited and started building cinemas and producing films. The first production of Cinemas Limited was 1953 film Sujatha, directed by T. Somaswaran, which made a new era in Sinhala cinema industry. Even though the story of the film was chosen by imitating the then popular Hindi film Bari Bihen, several new faces were introduced into Sinhala cinema, who later became pillars in Sinhala cinema, including Prem Jayanth, Florida Jayalath, Dami Jayawardena, Shanthai Lekha, and David Dharmakirthi. The film also made the first trailer and a full-fledged promotional plan of a Sinhala film. Gunaratnam introduced the first patriotic song Manoranjana Darshaniya Lanka to the film and included several Sri Lankan scenes such as Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Sigiriya and Katharagama in the film, which was produced entirely at the Modern Studio in India. After the box office records in his first film, Gunaratnam produced his second film Warada Kajan in 1954. The film introduced Karunaratne Abhisekara as a lyricist, T.B. Ilingaratne as a dialogue writer, and Christy Leonard Perura as an actor. Meanwhile, Gunaratnam sponsored the publication of Ilingaratne's first novel, Vilambitha, at the request of his friend Nadesan. After that, in the same year, he agreed to produce the novel Raydala Pillaruwa by W.A. Silva into a film after Ilingaratne's proposal. Eventually, he was associated with the companies as chairman of KG Group of Companies, Fuji Graphics Ceylon Limited, and Photo Kina Limited. Apart from that, he was the managing director of Sinsounds Sales and Services Limited, Union Carbides, Ceylon Limited, Asbestos Cement Industries Limited, Alhambra Hotels Limited, and United Spinning and Weaving Mills. As an industrialist, he manufactured ballpoint pens, corrugated cartons, and plastic containers. He also developed state-of-the-art yarn spinning and weaving mills at Ya Elo with 24,000 Swiss Reiter spindles, which was being expanded into weaving with 200 Picanol water jet looms with 100 lo. They were temporarily stored at the Hendala Industrial Complex until the foreign engineers were to install them at the weaving mills in Ya Elo in August 1983. Determined to promote his films as well as other Sinhala films, Gunaratnam released the magazine Kala on 20 August 1955. In 1956, he produced the film Dasthara. Before screening the film, Cinemas Limited released the book Maj Jeevitha Vithai, written by Rukmani Devi, who acted in the film. This is the first book written. In 1956, Gunaratnam won the award for the second most popular film in the 1956 Dinamina newspaper Rangamadala film competition with 11,243 votes. In the following years, he produced many commercially successful films such as Dupathage Duke in 1956, Saraya 1857, Vana Mohini 1958. In 1960, he joined with Lester James Parise and produced his film Sandasaya. He made the Portuguese fort, which was 20 feet in circumference and 80 feet in circumference, in Bilahul Oya with a cost about Lkr 38,000 in 1959 out of Blackstone. It is said that Cinemas has spent around Rs. 500,000 for this film. The film became a hallmark in the film industry, where 132 copies have been printed from one negative film. All the songs became popular, and the song Pruthu GC Karya became popular, and thousands of CD containing the songs were sold. Meanwhile, it has been screened in 136 cinemas island-wide, and it is reported that the dialogues were screened in Czech in Czechoslovakia. Gunaratnam also took steps to credit the proceeds of the premiere to the Deaf and Dumb Fund in Ratmalana. In 196, he established Vijaya Studio, Hendala. The original name of this studio was Cine Studio, which was started by purchasing an 8-acre land in Hendala at a cost of Lkr 800,000. Gunaratnam's full-fledged printing press on Armour Street, Colombo, was the Cine Press, where he printed color film posters and Kala magazine. The first film to be shot at the Vijaya Studio was Adeta Vedya Heta Handai, directed by M. Masthan. The first song recorded in its studio was Oya Belma Oya Kelma, sung by Dharmadasa Walpola and Latha Walpola for the film Kurulu Beda. In 1963, he produced the film Shandia, where all the street scenes and clubs built at the Vijaya Studio. Gunaratnam was responsible for half of its production of the first color-full-length Sinhalese language film Ranmathu Dua, directed by Mike Wilson. Then he involved with many blockbuster films such as Diwario 1964, Surachauraya 1967, Atavni Pujamaya 1968, Laksata Kodia 1970, Athmapuja 1970, and Hadai Narakai 1973. In 1965, he won the award for the Best Producer at Second United Lankafans Society Awards ceremony. During the Black July ethnic riots of 1983 in Colombo, Gunaratnam suffered with many problems. He traumatically fled from his residence in the middle of the night on 22 July 1983 to escape from marauding mobs. He later sought refuge at the then Holiday Inn Hotel in the city of Colombo. Meanwhile, some of his film studios, together with the collection of Sinhala films, were totally destroyed during the riots. Death. He was assassinated on 27 August 1989 at the age of 72 during the 1987-1989 JVP insurrection by a gunshot. At the time of death, he was going from his office to his residence for lunch. Whilst coming out of his office, in the front seat of his car, at a point of turning, 2 gunmen on a motorcycle had shot him at very close range. Aftermath. In 2019, his son G.R. Pathmaraj filed a lawsuit due to plaintiff claims that the late Gunaratnam's exclusive economic and moral rights were protected during his lifetime and are also protected for 70 years from his death. The Commercial High Court later extended its enjoining order, restraining telecasting, exhibiting, displaying, or showing the Sinhala film Sujatha. Filmography.